I'm on the stairwell, which makes it a little more echoey as you can hear. I thought I'd add just a little bit different environment. And with these like handrails, it's kind of artistic. It's kind of neat. So here's another live video. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about anxiety and happiness, which I think is really interesting, which was not planned, but that's going to be it's like the yin and yang. So I had another thing last night where I woke up and I got really anxious about all my projects that are going on. And again, like I couldn't go to sleep again. Like I woke up and I was up for like an hour or so, and I realized that the feeling comes before the rationalization, meaning that I felt anxious. And then my mind quickly tried to find out a reason why I was feeling anxious, right? So in that sense, it's kind of irrational. It's like you have this feeling, and then you're trying to find the source because we're intelligent people and we're human being creatures, and we try to figure stuff out. And my mind went like, "Why are you anxious?" And so it just tried to come up with reasons. And the reasons were, I have a bunch of new projects coming out. Like I have a couple of things that I'm working on, like the improv class start tonight at 8 o'clock. And then I have this new project that we're going to talk about later. And then I just have like this improv book that I'm working on and all this kind of stuff. And like my PhD, and my mind just went, you must be anxious about that. And so then I was anxious about that. The reality was that feeling came first. Is my feeling of like that fight or flight response, or that like, that yellow zone of, oh my God, like I'm being threatened in some way. That feeling came first, which is kind of like an evolutionary biological thing because it wasn't really inspired by anything. It's only afterwards when I try to make sense of that feeling that it then had something to latch onto. And like I said in a previous video, it's irrational. It doesn't make sense. My I have everything set up for the class tonight. I know what I want to say. I know how I want to say it. And I have some interviews that I'm doing today, and it's about improv, and it's with people I like. So like, all I'm doing is going to talk to people I like about something I like. Like, there's nothing that's going to go wrong there. The only thing that's going to go wrong there is if we get in a fight, which I don't think we talk about anything like that. So it's the irrational anxiety. That doesn't mean I don't have to deal with it, though. It means I still have to deal with it. So I was up, and eventually I went back to sleep. I almost thought about getting up and going play video games or something like take your mind off of it kind of thing. Shoot your paradigm. Uh, if you go back, I should have. I mean, of course, I was half asleep, so I couldn't think that rationally. But like, I should have gone back to. If you see my video about polyvagal theory, like, I should have gone. And they say in polyvagal theory, there are things that you can do to that. What is it? That the best way to get to change your mindset is to be around other people you like. The best support is the best way to change things is by support, and that breathing is the only part of our autoimmune system that we can control. Not our autoimmune system, our automaton system, but our system that does automatic, like our heart beating and our blood flowing, and all that kind of stuff flows automatically. And breathing is something we do automatically without thinking about it. It's the one thing that we can cerebrally control. Like, we can't control our body temperature just by thinking about it. We can control our breathing just by going. And so that if you just take some deep breaths, like, it's this kind of weird new age thing, but it supposedly works evolutionarily, like biologically, as a response. If you breathe in a certain pattern, which is deep breaths and everything, it has a biological response in you because that's the way you breathe when you're relaxed. So this feeling of anxiety, here comes my cat in the frame, you might see him. This feeling of anxiety, um, it's because it's like a biological thing. And if you do this, if you enact the way that you feel when you're calm, it will also have a biological um, impact. So I guess like what's funny is cats are kind of a way to help your stress level, or pets. Cats or pets. Because plants have been helping me out a lot lately. I wish I would have thought about this. I might take you downstairs to see the sunflower that just started sprouting, which is so awesome. Like, it's literally just a little sapling, and it's literally just started to unfold, which is so exciting because I thought there's no way in hell a sunflower is going to grow here in England, and it just started growing. I literally planted it like 3 days ago, and it's already starting to grow, which is nuts. Um, but anyways, so I had to deal with that again last night, and so I think anxiety is something that we all deal with. Like, one of the reasons why I want to do this history is I'm going to give everyone kind of this scaffolding of history of improv, which is all the stuff that you read in books and hear about, which is like in 1930 and in 1940 and in December, like all that kind of stuff. But the experience of living that is very different. Like, these people probably felt a lot of anxiety, which is why I'm having my guests on to talk about, like, okay, at 1930, this is what they dealt with. 1950, this is what they were dealing with. And so then when I came around in the 1970s, this is what I had to deal with. Like, that people can kind of say, like, it wasn't all like looking back at other people's accomplishments, you don't necessarily feel their struggle. You see their accomplishment and you don't realize that, oh, it took them years to develop that skill or to develop that network or to develop that whatever, and but all we see is those moments or the after effect of accomplishment. And then we don't realize that once you've accomplished something, it's not static. It's not like a trophy you put up on your wall. It takes maintenance. And sometimes those things crumble. We're watching this wonderful documentary on Imagineering on Disney Plus, and you get the sense that like the Disney company was not all roses, and it was a lot of manure for those roses to grow. Like there was this feeling of like, wow, this change of ownership and their visions and all this kind of stuff. And while Disney was anti-union, which sucks really bad, but like at a certain level, people have to be bullheaded to get their idea through, especially if it's a new idea. I think Ford, the guy that invented the cars, and is supposedly also not a nice person either, said that when you have a new idea, you don't have to worry about people stealing it. You practically have to jam it down their throats. Like, so, like with this improv boost thing about like social improv online, like there's so many people that were resistant to it. I talked to people like that's not going to work. I don't like that idea. And now flash forward to this time when everyone's on lockdown, and those same people that told me it was a bad idea are posting live videos every day doing improv. We're doing improv courses online. Those same people, and they might say, "Well, it's out of necessity." It's not out of necessity that they do that. Out of they want to still do improv, and it's just so weird. So we have a new idea. Don't have to worry about anyone stealing it. You have to jam it down people's throats. So let's talk about that was anxiety, something I dealt with, and we all deal with it. I don't want you to think you're alone and deal with an anxiety. Everyone gets anxiety. They probably just get it differently, or it feels different, or it looks different, or they mask it differently, or they deal with it differently. But I deal with it all the time. I do deal with it all the time. And I've been dealing with it a lot more with the lockdown and with like the uncertainty. I was talking to my friend Louise Woods last night, who's an amazing actress and improv artist. She's so good, so talented with her character work. She's awesome. And I never had this thought until we started having this conversation. And the conversation was that it's not just that we're like nervous, it's also that we're like emotionally exhausted. It's also that, and this is the part that I thought was really new, is that we're grieving the definition of our past lives. Like at one point, you can go out and walk and get lunch. I can go get a coffee. You can go get breakfast at Brown Sugar. I can go pick up a toastie from doorsteps. I can go have a Victoria. Like I had that freedom, and now the everyday life is I can't. Those places are closed, and it's going to look different when they reopen. So we're kind of grieving what our. So I feel like I'm sort of grieving what my past patterns or behaviors were, which is really an odd thing to go through because we and it makes sense, but what we usually attach grieving onto is like the passing of someone or of an animal. Like you grieve like someone passing away or whatever. I think in a certain way that I am. I'm not going to speak for you, but I feel like I'm grieving over what my definition of daily life was. And so, like the last couple of days, I've been dropping the ball on a lot of things, which is really I would like to say it's unlikely. Who knows if that's true? But I'd like to say it's unlikely. Uh, But, I feel like and it's weird because it's not that I've been like super busy. It's almost like I've just been super distracted over nothing. It's just been hard to focus, I guess. And I hope I'm not the only one. I bet you have been going through that as well. So I put this post up for the day because one of the things that one of the ways to look at social media right now is what can I express? And you say, well, I can put up like a lot of people in improv. I'll put up these shows of these classes. And a lot of that is you expressing something. I'm going to perform for an audience, or I'm going to teach some students. Although people might encapsulate it in, I'm providing something for someone. The reality is, you are expressing your viewpoints. You're expressing as a teacher, expressing your viewpoints on the way improv is or the way it should be done. As a performer, it's art that you're using to art as an expression, express your perspective. And so I think a lot of people, or people will put up blogs or whatever. And I think that the average person looks at social media as this is where I go to express myself. And the average person goes to social media to be entertained, but not to listen to anyone, really. Like they don't want to listen to counter viewpoints because it just gets them angry. They get riled up over to nobody, right? So they might see a funny meme or a funny video, but it's like cat videos, someone tripping, a squirrel on a feeder. Like it's not like I typically see like a movie or a TV show, except for like YouTube. I'm only saying like in social. I guess YouTube is a social media. But what I think that people who think the next level up is that what people want on social media is to be heard. That's why I started this whole thing. So I put up this post the other day on my personal page that said, if I produced a show where I gave someone 10 minutes just to talk about something that they love, would you watch it? And I got a lot of really positive responses. And I think part of it is I was inspired because I went to this graduate symposium. This graduate symposium details, like the titles, sounded so boring and dry. It's like the ramifications of online imaging and theory and blah, blah, blah. I can't even come up with it because it was so like when I come up, it sounds actually way more interesting. It sounds like the chemical ingredients in a household cleaner. But then you go, and every single one of those things was fascinating because these people have chosen to pursue something for 3 years, 3 to 6 years, depending on the program, that they're paying thousands of dollars for. So it has to be something that they're very interested in. And some of the stuff that I never would have been interested in, like, that is amazing. And the theories they're using. And so I felt like when you get people talking, and then also doing these videos, I talked when I was talking about plants a while back, and I realized that I was really like, it made me happy just talking about them to someone, is that being heard is so important. So if we get people to talk about something that they're passionate about for 10 minutes, will other people watch? Sure. More about, will that person feel like they've expressed something? And then if they connect with one other person that's like, oh, dude, I love that too. Then they're like, oh my God, we created a little bit of a community or a connection, which is what I think people are looking for. So I just didn't want it to be vague. I didn't want it to be like painting. I love painting because that's so vague and safe. It's not vulnerable. But if you say, I love Monet's paintings because I think Impressionism is like the minimalism, the skill it takes to put a blob of paint, but then step back and you get a very specific mood is so And if you get someone to talk about that, they'll go off on tangents and they'll get like excited and giddy. And I think it's that vulnerability. I just had an I'm doing some mentoring. I'm doing an online conference with someone, and she was talking, and then she goes, "Oh my God, my hair's," and she moved her hair the way, and like that was one of the most engaging moments because A, it was super vulnerable and authentic, and B, I've done that before too. Like, look at my hair and look at that little thing sticking out. I think it looks really weird. So I think when we do these online, look at that, made that look curl. See, see, look at that. When we do these online conferences, we know we check each other, we check ourselves out. Like, how do I look? Like, I take a quick glance. Like, should I do this? Should I lean in? Am I slouching? Do I have the rolls right here? Like, when you do that vulnerable stuff, I think it's really engaging. So if you get people to talk about what they love and they're vulnerable about it, so get them to talk about something specifically as opposed to something safe and broad. Music, yeah, but people can say they love music. If you said, "I love Ben Folds," Ben Folds is amazing. You're not going to hit everybody in the world, and you're not required to hit everybody in the world with your happiness. You're just allowed to be happy. But if you found two other people that you didn't know were like, "Oh, I love Ben Folds too. He's amazing. He's a percussionist." Like, now you have two or three people that have the same interests that you do, and you feel heard. And I think that's the point is you feel heard. So I'm calling it happiness. It's not the improv boost. I couldn't decide where I wanted to produce it. Did I want to produce it on my personal page, on Mischief Manage? I didn't know. But I'm doing it on improv boost because I'm going to tap into the improv community, improv stand-up comedy sketch community. And I'm just going to have them talk about something that they love for 10 minutes. And it has to be something specific. It can't be general like architecture. It has to be the dancing building in Prague. I love that, blah, 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 whatever it is. And then I find when you listen to someone talk about something they love, they get that energy boost. And then I get a little hit of energy off of it as well. So the first one's going to be Monday, 8 o'clock British Standard Time, BHT. I'm not sure if that stands for. And I'm having someone who's going to be talking about, I can't remember the theater company, but she's going to talk about a specific theater company. And another woman, I love this topic, is going to talk about female pharaohs in Egypt. When we went to Egypt, it was so interesting listening to the guy talk about Hatshepsut. Um, and then she would dress like a male pharaoh, like the little chin thing, and then like this thing. Like, everyone knew she was female, and all this kind of stuff, and it was very unheard of at that time, and like she rocked it. She rocked it, which is awesome. So I can't wait to hear these things, and it's just going to be like 10 minutes. I told him 8 minutes. I said aim for 8 minutes. If you go 10 minutes, I'll ask questions and all that kind of stuff. I think that stuff is fascinating. Um, but it's basically just so you are heard. That's the goal, is that you are heard. And if you are listening and you see someone else talk about something that you love, like if you love Egyptian history, and you're like, "Whoa, that's fascinating." Like, now you connect and you message and say, "Wow, that was crazy," and you comment and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully, we're not making these very, like, generic, emotionally distanced connections, is that people are being heard and people are connecting in this time where I think it's so crucial. It's almost a form of currency in this time because we're doing these Zoom conversations with my family and my friends and everything, and then just communicating with people feels so good. I don't know. I mean, human beings are communal animals. We just how we share culture and knowledge, and it's just been so awesome. So, if you have anything you want to say, any questions, let's just consider this an AMA 24/7. That's what this is. If you want to ask me anything, I'll be as honest as I can. I'll be vulnerable. I'll tell you what I think, and I'll try to help out as best I can. I'm not a therapist, so I can't really help out in that regards. I'll tell you what works for me. If that helps. Maybe we can connect. So hope you're doing well, and I hope to hear you soon. Bye. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get before I sign off. I was going to sign off. Let me get you the sunflower to show you what I'm talking about. So here, um, this is the succulent. I got the succulent at Tesco, which is like a big what do you call it? Grocery store, like a superstore. So it was tiny. It was actually the size of this one, just this one right here. And I bought it like, oh, that's cute. I'll get it. I thought it was dead. Like, there's no way that thing's gonna survive. Look how big it is now. It's sprouted. And there's a little second one, and there was another little here that I just put in another pot. So it's getting bigger. Like it doesn't feel too secure, but that sucker's growing, and it looks like it's growing in the shape of the sun. Excuse me. What I do want to share with you is this. Can you see this little guy right here? You can actually see the sunflower seed shell on the top. Look at that. And it's growing. I thought, no way, sunflowers grow in England. And there's a second one in there, I know, but I don't think that little guy's come out yet. But see the little leaf? Uh, and I swear I just planted that like 3 days ago. So it's sprouting really fast. I did plant a lot more, so that means those ones are not, they're not doing so well. But that one's growing. Uh, Okay, now talk to you later. Bye.